ball that's patched on a cloth like that.
Okay.
A piece of cloth on a ball. Of course, this is too small, but you would put it up in there and you would use this called a starter tool. And I usually have one around my neck, like this one here. This is probably more proper. This is a combination starter tool, a loading block, and a powder measure. And this would be around my neck. And I would take powder out of my powder horn. I didn't want to put all my gear on because it's just too hot today. Powder out of the powder horn, pour it into there. And I would pour the powder into the barrel so I got the same charge every time.
And you pour that exact amount? That's
yeah,
the perfect
amount? This is 80 grains of powder, which works well in here.
Perfect.
And I poured the powder from the powder horn into there, so I got the same measure every time.
Okay.
And there was a couple other reasons for doing it that way too, safety and otherwise. But you poured it into there, then you poured that into the barrel.
Okay.
Then you take the patch ball and you placed it over the barrel like that, and then you use this here to start it, and that would be the same thing. It's a starting tool.
I see.
Then that would drive it into the barrel, and you take that off like that. Then you would take the ramrod out, and you would finish pushing the charge down onto the powder. Because if the charge wasn't seated on the powder and there was an air gap in there, the gun would burst and probably kill or maim you before it would do any damage down range. Yeah, so it had to be packed down, and the ramrod had to go back in, because without the ramrod you couldn't load the gun. Then you had to go back to half cock, pour a small amount of powder into the pan, and then the frizzen went down and held the pan into place, or the powder into place by the pan. This is the pan, this is the frizzen. The frizzen supplied the spark to ignite the powder, so when you pulled the trigger, those sparks ignited the powder and fired the gun.
Wow, sweet.
That is